Live from Basement Boulevard and Rockland Avenue, this is Cellar County with Butch and Cofi, and so the NFL regular season is done.
Officially over after all the madness and all the COVID. The playoff picture is now finally established, but there was a lot of action and a lot to unpack
A lot of stuff went down on Sunday. Some of it good, some of it bad. Some of it makes you wonder if a certain organization has it out for another organization.
Yeah. We'll get to them. We'll get to Tank Division in a little bit, but I think the game we have to start off with, and the team with the longest playoff drought in all of NFL football.
Before you say something, Butch, remember what I said last week? I have 4 little words for you.
F you. F you. F you.
And these are the 4. And these are the 4 words. 4 words that very few men want to hear. You know what those words are? You know,
Please go fuck yourself.
I got. No, those.
Please.
No, something like. I even got a little dance for it too from an old cartoon. From an old cartoon, I got a little dance for you. Na 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 na. I told you so. Na 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 na. I told you so. I told you the Browns were gonna pull that off. I told you they were making the playoffs. I told you. I have not felt this excited since I called the 2010 NCAA championship. I called that game before. I called that whole season before the national championship. Oh, I have not felt so good since
you
then.
are a Steelers fan, like you tell me you are, and you have family members that are Steelers fans, and they heard you just say that, by golly, you should be ashamed of yourself. They would disown your butt if they heard you saying those awful, awful teases.
This game. Let's look at the big. Let's look at the big picture of this game.
Let's look at the big. The big picture is the Browns made the playoffs. Hooray! You know what everyone else in Detroit's saying? God fucking damn it! The Browns somehow managed to not brown it up after getting exposed to the New York Jets. I almost said Giants. Holy shit.
Would that have been worse if it was the Giants?
No, the Jets were definitely the worst of the bunch, but the
worst
Giants
team in the NFL, and they still couldn't tank enough to get Trevor Lawrence.
Second worst team in the
No. I still say the record doesn't show how bad they actually are.
They are, and we'll get to the axings later. But if you're a Browns fan, yes, you can be excited about this win. You beat the Steelers, you overcame the boogeyman, and you made it back to the promised land for the first time since 2002.
Now the question is, can you do it again?
And my answer to you is 2 letters, N-O.
And I do agree. I do agree with that. I'm glad they make the playoffs, but as for doing it again, this time with a hopefully healthy Ben and with all the stuff going on, the fact that for the second day in a row, I believe, that they couldn't access their facilities because of positive test.
Yep. And their head coach is officially ruled out of Sunday's matchup against Steelers.
I would say this past Sunday was, to me, one of the golden moments. It's like, yes, you can do it. You are the fairy tale story. Things are going so wrong for you that I don't see you. Okay. Let's think of the hypothetical here.
If you're the new Browns, you are excited. This was your franchise defining moment. You have not had a moment like this since the 80s. Since the dark days when Modell dragged your old team to Baltimore. I will give you a hypothetical stereo question. The Browns, let's just see as the days articulate and how many more players and also coaches, because we now know the coaches could get it. The Browns pull this off. I mean, they somehow come together, they rally around and take the game at Heinz. Is this game for the Steelers more embarrassing than going down to Duval and getting their asses whooped by the Jags?
Um, I would say that's actually a good question. The thing is, and this is a similar situation happened, I believe 2017. The only difference is that, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but let me try to think about this. Back in 2017, I believe,
Yep.
the Bears were playing the Vikings. The Vikings need to win to get into the playoffs. Where if they did, they will face the Bears again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, I think
2018.
It was 2018. It was 2018. All right, yeah, that's a situation the Vikings and Browns both share. The only thing is the Vikings still lost that game, I believe.
Yep.
And the Browns did. Now, let's also remember that the Bears were not using their full roster. They were saving some guys. Same thing with the Steelers. They were saving guys. Now that the Steelers are going to have a hopefully full roster come this game, do you really think the Browns can beat them again after seeing all the... They basically had to use all their tricks to beat the Steelers the first time around. A Steelers team that didn't have everyone. Now you got to do it again against the fully loaded Steelers, and you guys are losing a few players because of the pandemic.
I don't think it's possible.
I think it's possible. It's just not likely.
Not after what I saw against Mason Rudolph, because
the game was closer than it should have been. The first half
was too close. The first half was way too damn close. And then the second half, you started to pull away, but you let Pittsburgh crawl back in. And albeit for a stop 2-point conversion, I literally thought you were going to choke away this game. I literally thought the old Browns were about to rear their ugly heads at good old First Energy Stadium and disappoint the dog pound, disappoint the 12,000 fans that are actually there to root your team on, and just hope for something good to come out of this year. And for Cleveland, that is saying a lot. Yes, made the playoffs.
Ohio has had a few victories this year, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah,
including one that I won't go into another rant, but let's just say you don't deserve the victory, but...
Oh, boy.
But
if you want, I will give you this. We could talk about this later. We could save this if we have time. If you behave like a good boy, I will reward you with a little rant at the end of our podcast. How's that sound?
Well, the thing is, I'm not going to fully rant until January 11th. Once January 11th happens, then I might rant.
But it's still noteworthy to mention.
Yes.
The rant can be saved, but still noteworthy to mention.
Yeah. And I was also referring to the Columbus Crew winning the MLS Cup. That's the other thing I was referring to.
That was also good. That was
one I actually enjoyed because I saw majority of the game.
If you know the history behind the Crew and whatnot, you have to be pretty enthusiastic to see them win a cup, especially after everything they were put through. Cleveland, I wish you the best of luck, but looks like Lady Luck's about to drop the anvil on your balls.
All right, so
Speaking of an anvil on my balls, we're gonna jump to the other CB team in the NFL.
As I was referencing earlier, of a certain organization having out for another organization, it's become more and more apparent that the NFL just sends the shittiest refs they can find, or refs that can easily be bribed, to every Lions game. You can vouch for this, right?
Yes. Oh boy, we're going here.
Okay.
This game,
we're going here.
This was painful only because the Lions were about to give up the most yards of all time in franchise history. The Lions had a chance to get a stop. And they did. They sacked Kirk Cousins in what could have been a crucial turn of the game for the Lions. And what the hell do we witness, and what are some fans actually sympathetic to the Lions about? Yes, Refball, ladies and gentlemen.
Refball 2020. 2021 in this case.
This was, by all means, the dumbest roughing the passer call I have ever seen. It literally looked like a clean tackle out of youth fucking football. And the flag was immediately thrown. I almost spit out my drink when I saw this play live. I cannot believe the refs even called that. I felt bad for Clay Matthews.
Yeah,
Clay years ago when he got
Clay
called.
Matthews last year was the biggest victim of this new roughing the passer rule, because it seems no matter what he did, he could even go out his way. He could even just push the guy down, not go anywhere near him, and they would still throw a flag on him.
Is this a conspiracy by the NFL to just protect quarterbacks? Like the quarterback's best interests?
And the thing is, if this is a conspiracy to protect quarterbacks, you're protecting the wrong quarterbacks.
And
look at the ones that get the call the most versus the ones that should be getting called and still not getting called.
And it's always against the Lions, because I have a literal list full of errors and grievances I'd like to file against the NFL on behalf of those shitty fucking refs. This was the icing on the cake. This was a game that you knew was going to be a high-scoring contest, and goddamn did it cost us in the end. And right now, you had TJ Lane come out, one of our prior defensive men that recently retired, got away from the NFL, but even he threw his grievances out there. Like, what the fuck are the refs even thinking to call that horse shit fucking penalty against the Lions?
These refs.
And then we're not even getting to the Marvin Jones touchdown. The one that got taken away because it was a clean catch. And the refs don't know what the fucking catch is.
It's 2021, and the refs are still arguing about what the hell's a clean catch.
He put all the basic elements together to create a catch, and the NFL somehow found evidence that suggested.
Well, I'm not kidding, folks. I'm sorry to cut you off, Butch, but I'm not kidding. Look at the replay. Now, the NFL official rules that there has to be insurmountable evidence to turn the call around.
It was horseshit.
There
was nothing of the sort.
I do not know. I do not know what the hell they define as what the hell they mean, because I saw that whole play and it's like, that's a catch in any other stadium, in any other place even in Chicago. Goddamn it, that's a catch. But no, it is not a catch. And I thought it's official. These refs just have it out for your Lions. It's almost like this one thing I saw one time where I thought this is a little extreme, but for the sake of this, I thought it was hilarious. Someone actually made a post about the names of every ref that ever refed a Lions game when shit hit the fan with a call.
Oh God!
It was every name of those refs, and I would say this: if there was ever a petition, you could go ahead and make a petition for this. Make a petition that all those refs on that list and the refs in this game should never ref a Lions game ever again. I will sign that for you. I will be your first signature. That was bullshit. I saw that. I watched the replay. I'm like, this is the most bullshit thing that ever happened.
Coming from a Bears fan, that means a lot to me. Yes, our season unfortunately ends with Refball getting the best of us. But you know what? We have the 7th overall pick, so hopefully we won't fuck this up like we did last year with Akua.
Let's look at who's gonna be in the draft. We'll get to the draft eventually, but all right, now let's move.
Speaking of the other team, the Chicago Bears.
Let's move to Chicago. Somehow, some way, even when we couldn't beat the goddamn Green Bay Packers, we still managed to make the playoffs. Why? Because as I said before, Arizona, you have Kyler Murray, but that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit.
This game was wrapped up to the Cardinals. The Rams were not even starting.
Yeah, Goff was
Jared Goff.
Goff was benched in this game, and somehow they still managed to pull it off.
John Wolford of the Arizona Hotshots of the AAF was starting, and what happens the first series as karma to all you bitches that came out after the Hail Murray. Murray goes down, and then they throw in a nobody quarterback from the CFL, and from there, the Arizona Cardinals could not find ground. They could not find water to tread on with a Rams team that didn't have their starting quarterback.
That's what I've been saying.
All you need to do is win, and you're in.
That's all I've been saying, Butch, is that without Kyler Murray, even if you had Kyler Murray, the rest of your team is garbage. You can't win with that core.
Not DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, one exception, DeAndre Hopkins, I will give you that. But it takes more than Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins to win.
Everyone thought that 7 weeks ago during the Hail Murray. Oh boy!
I admit, Butch. 7 weeks ago, we did sip the Kool-Aid a little bit. We had a small taste of the Kool-Aid. A small taste.
Kyler Murray is coming out. Oh boy,
we had a small.
Here they go.
Unlike other sports podcasts, we can admit when we're wrong. I admit we drank the Kool-Aid a little bit with Kyler Murray.
They crashed and burned like a boat in a monsoon. Oh boy, guess what? You're the lone lady left standing at the dance. You're out because you couldn't perform when the time mattered. You choked. And now, thanks to you, Matt Nagy is somehow relevant. Mitch Kissintitties is back in the playoffs.
Let's just also put this out there that from a statistical standpoint, if you look at this, Mitch Trubisky is better than John Watford. Fucking Mitch Trubisky is better than majority of the CFL quarterbacks. And we had to depend on an AAF quarterback to win. What? This is actually a good thing for me, because what this means is that come, hopefully, a few years from now, when we get all these people who play in the XFL coming to the NFL, we can have a breakout star from the XFL.
We already saw one when Carolina Panthers shut out the Lions. Ty Johnson. Remember that?
Yeah, but I'm talking. Yeah, I remember that. I was actually about to say. Actually, you know what? I don't even know where I was going with this. I was just caught up in the moment. The fact that the Bears are somehow in the playoffs now.
What I think you were going with was when the XFL is revived under The Rock. Hopefully, they produce enough star talent that a couple of these guys can matriculate into the system and become like the Kurt Warners of the NFL, aka a second chance.
You are absolutely,
and they make the most of it.
You are absolutely right, Butch. I thank you for that.
I am hopeful.
But I was going to say, somehow the Bears are still in the playoffs. So let me say this one thing. Am I happy the Bears are in the playoffs? Yes. Am I happy that we're up against the Saints?
Can we put you on a polygraph test before you answer that question?
I have more things. Like, by this one question, am I happy they're in the playoffs? Yes. Because any Chicago team that makes playoffs is a good thing for me. Am I happy
that doesn't even accomplish?
That's the thing I was going to say. Am I happy that things are going to stay the same now because they have every reason to stay the same? No.
Coffee,
I am not happy.
You guys got in as the 7th seed. You guys have lost, let me count, 6 straight games against New Orleans. The team you're going up against. You're going up against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome. That is one of the toughest places to win in the playoffs. You guys are going in with Mitch Kissintitties and Matt Nagy, and you guys are riding on some false hope that you guys can actually get a win against the Saints. You guys are actually excited about sneaking into the playoffs when you couldn't even beat Aaron Rodgers. You guys got smoked.
I can think of a lot. Okay, before I let you continue, let me just say a lot of teams can't beat Aaron Rodgers. Let's not forget the Washington's in the playoffs. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, but guess what? That's because they're in a shitty division. You guys are a shitty football team that somehow made it into a shitty playoff format. Congratulations. Here's your participation trophy. Now go get your asses kicked.
As I was saying earlier, am I happy that they made the playoffs? Yes. Am I happy that things are now going to stay the same because someone's going to find a justifiable reason to keep this the same? No.
I think it'd be cool to keep it the way it is right now with a 17. It makes it a little more exciting, but
No. I'm not talking about the playoffs. I'm talking about, are the McCaskies going to justify keeping Trubisky and Nagy around another year? No, I'm not happy about that.
yeah, you guys gotta deal with that boogeyman.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm not happy about. Like, yay, we made the playoffs. We're up against Saints. Yeah, but now now we have to keep these guys. Ugh.
One step at a time first. You guys have to win against the Saints.
Okay.
No
What's more likely to happen? The Browns beating the Steelers again, or the Bears beating the Saints? What's more likely to happen in your opinion?
Bears beating the Saints. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The Bears beating the Saints because the Bears have a slightly higher chance of beating the Saints than the Browns do the Steelers. The Steelers are going to massacre the Browns at Heinz Field. They're literally going to paint the field red with ketchup.
I'm sorry, I got a call really quick. I'm gonna let Butch go off. I gotta take a call.
The Saints are going to literally give the Bears a run for their money and are going to send them down Bourbon Street, falling over their heels, ladies and gentlemen. If you think the Bears have a chance in high hell that they could even go down the NOLA and beat the Saints, no fucking way. Congrats to your Bears, but get ready for the headache they're about to produce. Yeah.
The one thing I was gonna say, and you could come down and slap me in the face for saying this, but I think it's more likely the Browns will beat the Steelers than the Bears will beat the Saints.
Oh boy.
Feel free. I'm sorry. Even as a Steelers fan, you can come down here and all the Yinzers can come down here to Chicago and slap me for saying this, but I stand by it that the Browns are more likely to beat you than the Bears are likely to beat the Saints.
I like you to say that to your family and then tell me what happens afterwards. But we need to move on here, folks. We need to keep this train rolling. All right,
so let's talk about the rest of the playoffs. So
No. We need to focus on the AFC because there was 4 spots available and 5 teams participating. Can we please talk about the one team that got left down in the AFC?
Yes, we can.
The Miami Dolphins, unfortunately, with exception going down with COVID and having Tua to go in against the Bills, there was hope that Tua would finally find his ultimate form and make Miami the surprise team the entire season and bring them to the promised land of the playoffs. Instead, the Dolphins got absolutely brutally murdered up at Orchard Park. They did not stand a chance. By the end of the first half, folks, it was unfortunately over. Miami, with this loss, was not able to control its destiny, and thanks to Indianapolis's win, it ultimately killed their playoff chances. However, for the Dolphins, there is a slimmer of hope, as in the Larry Tunsil trade, the one trade everyone thought you were crazy to do with the Texans, you got their first-round pick for 2021 NFL Draft, and the Texans somehow blotched their way all the way up to 3rd. Congratulations, Miami. You have the 3rd overall pick. Brian Flores is literally this close to being head coach of the year. Would have been head coach of the year if you made the playoffs, but your future is hopefully bright. Make a good draft selection, and we will see you back in the playoffs next year. Congratulations, Miami Dolphins.
What else is there to say? What else is there to say?
I feel like Tua still has a lot to learn. I feel really bad for Fitzception because he's been in the league, I think, over 14 years, has never been to the playoffs. This was the closest he ever came to really sniffing it, with the exception of the Jets back in 2015. So, the Dolphins, yeah, I would have really liked to see them in the playoffs over the Browns, but you really can't control your destiny when you go down as bad as you did in that first half. Tua never really
It,
found his
it
rhythm.
it to me is more the fact that, given the nature of the NFL, the fact that how many teams with 10 wins are in the postseason in the AFC?
I think 4 as of right
I
now.
mean,
I
more
think it
than 10.
was.
I'm sorry, let me phrase that. More than 10 wins. How many teams finished
But
with more than 10 wins in the AFC this year?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. It was all of them. Miami was the lone double-digit team that got left out of the dance.
Yeah, that to me is, that's sometimes the nature. Like, imagine this was the old format. There were 6 teams only can make
If
it.
I, if I'm a Dolphin, yeah, that would have hurt even more. If I'm a Dolphins fan, yes, I'm upset that we didn't get in the playoffs, but you you can't
The
don't your
future
head.
looks good. Your
Yeah.
future hopefully looks good.
Yeah, you were down 20-6 at halftime. Yeah, the game was all but over by then, but you got the third overall pick. You made the Texans look like idiots. You
And
literally made.
hopefully, you can get one of Tua's old buddies in the draft.
Ooh, that would
Wait,
be a
wait.
very.
Is he entering the draft?
I want to say he is. I believe he is.
Yeah, I will check with that really quick, see if he's entering the draft, if he's declared to draft yet. Well, he may not have yet because he's still got one more game to go.
Do you have do you have faith in Brian Flores going forward? Do you think he has discovered the Patriot way, what other teams like the Texans and the Lions were seeking but never fully got?
It's
I
too
think
early
we're
to say.
I think we're one season away from seeing Miami on top. I wouldn't say on top of the AFC East, but they are definitely going to be contending with Buffalo from here on out.
They are a team, like, it's too early to say, I would say, but
Tua
I
needs
would say this. Miami is what I would call a spoiler. They're looking like a spoiler at this point. It's like, maybe they'll make the playoffs, maybe they won't, but they can clearly mess up someone else's plans.
one game shouldn't define a rookie's entire season. And some people will say Tua definitely mishandled that game. Tua had a great season. Tua was brought in when Fitzception was actually doing well. A lot of people questioned that call, and Tua was hot. He was the prospect to look at. He was the guy, the star of the star crop of the draft. Yeah, he had one bad game, but there's a lot of young hope in the little man from Hawaii. That's a lot going for him, man. As for the other teams, the Colts somehow made it in. The Colts were the one team that did not control their destiny. They beat the lowly Jags and then had to wait. Well, actually, their game was at 4:25. In fact, the Colts didn't even have the games posted at their stadiums. They did not want to know how the other teams did. They needed one of 3 things to happen. And fortunately, Miami got blown out to the Bills, which secured the Colts' playoff chances and put them in the dance. Philip Rivers is possibly on, you would say, his last ride.
I can think of you can put it like that, yes.
Do you have faith in Philip Rivers going into these playoffs?
To actually win a game or to
Win a game. I
Ah.
they are going against the Bills.
That's the thing though. I'm looking at this.
I still think Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen as a quarterback. I just don't know if he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. Last year,
No. I don't think the Bills are good enough to win. I don't think he's good enough to win a Super Bowl now. Hopefully in the next few years he can prove if he can. But I don't think.
this
Like, I'm
feels
looking
like
only at this game only. I don't care what the next round is. In this game only, Colts versus Bills. I would say that
Indy's defense is good.
Indy's defense is good.
Offense, on the other hand, is hit or miss, but this Phillip Rivers team did get to 11 wins this season. Yeah, they had one of the biggest. They let up one of the biggest upsets of the season by losing to the Jags in Week 1. But this team is capable of so much. And I just feel like it's a trap game for the Bills. Last year, I thought they had everything secure going at 19-0 on the Texans, and look what happened there. And look what happened with everyone talking about whether Josh Allen was going to be established QB in the NFL. Yeah, a 13-3 record is good for Josh Allen. Yeah, they've been really good ever since they let up the Hail Murray, and they've been on a winning streak of 6. I think it's now set up to 7 games, but you just wonder at home, first time since 96, how they're going to do. I really, really think the Colts have a chance of pulling off the upset and knocking the Bills out of the playoffs.
I would say of all the games that has the most likely upset potential, this would be the game. Because I do not see, like, if it were to happen, let's say, okay, let's look at what's happening Saturday. We have Colts and Bills, we have Rams, Seahawks, we have Buccaneers and Washington. Washington ain't winning that freaking game.
No.
But the Rams could. They could beat Seattle. But is that an upset in your eyes? Is that an upset?
It's not a big enough upset.
No.
Not to me.
Okay.
That's the way
if the Colts beat the Bills, would that be a huge upset to you?
Yes.
I would say this is a statement game. Like, forget the divisional round. This is a statement game for the winner. The winner is basically saying, yeah, we're here, and hopefully we're here to stay for years down the road. And the losing team has to now look in the mirror and it's like, all right, we got to this point. What the hell we do now?
I don't know, however, if this is going to be Rivers' first return to playoffs with the Colts. I really feel like it's kind of like
if he stays healthy, if he stays healthy, he'll be back next year.
So what you're saying is
I hope so.
What you're comparing it to is kind of like Brett Favre when he went to the Vikings. Are you kind of comparing it to
with the weapons the Vikings had at that time? Yes, I am making that comparison.
Interesting. Well, let's see if Phillip Rivers has some last-minute magic to hopefully cap off a Super Bowl win and define his career. Instead of always being that what if question from the 04 draft. We need to talk about the elephant in the room, unfortunately. And you mentioned it a second ago with the Washington Redskins.
Can we talk about how Washington got in the first place? Can we just talk about that for a second?
With the 7-9 record, I would not mind to divulge. Holy shit, was Tank Division horrible.
Let's not divulge the fact that it was a 7-9 record that they got in. Let's focus on their opponents for a second. Let's focus on the Eagles.
They had nothing to win or lose.
They had nothing going for it. So what do they do?
Carson Wentz is about to be exiled by Doug Pederson. And in a Week 17 matchup for all the marbles, with Jalen Hurts actually performing decent, only down by 3 points, Doug Pederson pulls a rabbit out of his ass and throws out Hurts for Nate Sutfield in what literally looks like a deliberate move to lose.
It was taken at the last second, the last absolute second to take. That was what it sounded like.
Taking. You have literally pissed off all of New Jersey. You have every Giants fan wanting to
next year, if you go to the
right
Meadowlands
now.
next year, if there's fans, they will want your head. They will want.
It is
They
going
will want
to
your
be
head. They will
ugly
burn an
scene.
effigy for. They will burn an effigy of the fact that you screwed them because you decided, well, there's nothing less to go. So there's nothing else to play.
About the analytics.
You're out.
Doug Pederson made the statement of analytics. There's nothing analytical about that. Putting in a former Hoosier quarterback who you and me saw our lone
We have a funny,
semester of football at
we have a
IU.
funny story about this. We have a funny story about him. I will tell it one day, but yes,
Folks, IU
yes, the
football
one
was-
semester we were both at IU, he was the quarterback.
IU football was never good, and we sure as hell confirmed it this year with Indiana having a magical season only to lose to Mississippi. Boy, that was painful. You do not put in Nate Sudfeld when there's literally playoff implications on the line for the team you're facing, a division rival for that matter. You want to spoil Washington's chances? You want to make Daniel Snyder piss his pants?
Go out and win the
crap
game.
himself?
Go out and win.
Exactly.
Go out,
and
bleed,
die.
put blood, sweat, and tears on that field because not only is that your job, it's the Washington football team, for crying out loud.
A team that got rid of their star quarterback in Dwayne Haskins. Yes, it's a heartwarming story to have Alex Smith bring this team back to relevance.
Probably one of the best things this year. Probably one of the best stories this year is his comeback.
Amen to that, but holy shit, how they made it in was beyond controversial. And now they got to go up against Tampa, who hasn't been in the second longest streak. 2 streaks got snapped this year, the Browns and the Bucks.
And the Bucks have Brady. They have Gronk. They have Antonio Brown. What the hell do you think is going to happen?
You guys are literally fucked. And the fact that
I'm sorry. Let's take the attention
enough.
of Washington and go back to the Eagles and what the fuck is wrong with them? Not just Doug Pederson, the whole fucking organization.
It was all Doug Pederson. Yes, Wentz is out. The relationship is permanently spoiled, but I mean, you have players openly wanting to rip off Doug Peterson's head. Doug Peterson's coming back for 2021, and it is only going to lead to an awkward situation in the locker room. The man has lost the trust of his players with a boneheaded call like that.
That's why I say the rest of his organization. The fact that he's still, as far as I'm aware of, I'm about to actually look right now. As far as I'm aware, he's still on the team. He's still the head coach.
He will be back next year. He's already been confirmed.
If you don't fire this guy, if you don't fire this guy, Eagle, I'm making a plea right now to the Eagles front office. If you can hear me, if you don't fire this guy, if there's a full-blown rebellion in the Eagles locker room, you have only yourself to blame for it. If the Eagles next year decide, oh, I don't want to play, fuck you, I'm not playing with you. Not as long as Doug Pederson. You deserve it. Because Doug Pederson, it's like
he has fallen from grace. He has fallen from a Super Bowl win to outright deliberately throwing a game. And if you're gonna argue with me,
he makes Matt Nagy look competent as fuck. That's where we're at right now.
That is a damning statement.
He makes Matt Nagy, everything that went wrong with Nagy makes it look like, oh, that's just coincidence. It's not like he's intentionally bad. No, that's what it comes down to. Yes, Doug Pederson won a Super Bowl. But look at the Eagles now. Look at this shit that happened on Sunday. And you want to tell me, this guy's still good enough to be our head coach.
He has outright ruined the organization. He has outright destroyed whatever team culture was left from a last season. Congratulations. You're an idiot.
Whatever negative stereotype you can now think of for the Eagles, that's Doug Pederson now. All the bad things you can say.
I don't want to say his name, but whenever I think of an Eagles fan, I think of Eat That Pussy 445.
Oh, by the way, if you're listening, I don't know who you are, but if you ever do listen to this, I have 2 words for you. Fuck off. And anyone who supports him, anyone who supports him and supports the Eagles in the way he does can fuck off.
It's only for people that have really bad diarrhea at Chipotle and for really diehard Eagles fans that decide to throw batteries at opposing players. Congratulations, Eagles. You guys are now back to mediocrity.
You are the just this one game alone. You made the
You
Jets
are
look. You made the Jets look like
a competent organization. You guys are literally the redheaded stepchild of the NFL.
If the Jets are a dumpster fire, then let's just say the Eagles just lit a whole fucking barge on fire in the middle of whatever polluted river they're next to.
Fuck, we just flew over that river. Oh, whatever. fuck Jersey. Send the barge to Jersey. You know that place is a fucking dumpster.
I'm pretty sure even the Jets would have enough common sense to take that barge and send it elsewhere.
But no, it floated down the river and it landed in Eagles country. We need to talk about one more matchup here, just real fast.
Let's go ahead. Because I'm pretty sure we pissed off everybody living in Philadelphia now.
We had not pissed off the fans of these two teams and the playoff rematch from last year. Oh, that hurt. Titans and Lucy jumped in my nuts.
Somehow your cat is an Eagles fan.
Yeah, she is coming to defend. Fly, Eagles, fly, she says. Ravens and Titans. Lamar Jackson, is he gonna get his revenge from last year?
Oh man, this is the one game of all the games outside the Browns Steelers. This is the one game where I say I don't know who I want to win, but whoever wins, I'm happy for them.
I really want to see Lamar Jackson become a dark horse after his massive poop against the Browns and literally, figuratively ride this wave to the Super Bowl.
I just want to see a Mahomes-Jackson match in the AFC Championship.
In the matchup's history, and this is the stat I'm looking at right now, the road team is 4-0. As you know, the Titans beat the Ravens last year in Baltimore. This year, the Titans are hosting the Ravens. So is it only fitting that the Ravens return the favor to the Titans by beating them at Nissan Stadium in Nashville?
They should.
I think it's only fitting.
Now, keep in mind, now that you said that statistic, it's not going to happen. Apparently, the statistic jigs exist in the NFL.
It does exist, but I think Lamar has found himself after that poop. He has brought out a superstar. And seeing what he did against the Bengals in Week 17, you just wonder what type of destruction he's going to bring against the Titans. Yes, you have to worry about the massive Derrick Henry, who rushed for 2,000 yards this season. He will be unstoppable against this Baltimore defense and Ryan Tannehill. But Lamar can pull a thing or two out of his ass, and I think he could keep pace with Derrick Henry. And I think he'll have a trick or two up his sleeve more to get those Ravens his coveted win.
All I want, if I were to say what's my ideal AFC Championship game, it is at the very least, if the Chiefs are going to make it, I at least want to see. It may not even be the AFC Championship. Can I just get a Chiefs Ravens match in the playoffs?
I don't think that's too much to ask.
Because this is the one matchup last year where I said the winner of this is going to win Super Bowl. But we never got that.
Nope.
And that's all I want is to see what I would say at the time, the fastest rising superstar in the NFL versus the second rising fastest superstar.
The battle of the young guns.
The battle of future Hall of Famers, hopefully.
Oh boy. What could be a... Ooh, 1 second.
What could be...
is going crazy right now. Oh boy. I will just say this. I think a lot of people would pay good money to see Mahomes and Jackson fight in the playoffs, especially on a continuous basis. I'm not comparing it to LeBron and Steph, but two superstar players on two superstar teams. One already has his ring. The other rightfully deserves his ring. And this team looks completely different from last year's team that got snubbed out in the first round. The team that had the most hype going into the playoffs that got snubbed was the Ravens.
And they're up against a team that basically snuffed their hopes, snuffed Lars' hopes of being probably the new face of the NFL.
Let's hope for our sakes that the Ravens could beat the boogeyman, could get over the hump of the Titans, and carry it on to... I want to say they're playing Arizona this year for the Super Bowl. Where are they playing the Super Bowl at this year?
They are playing Super Bowl at...
Where is it going to be?
It is at Raymond James Stadium.
Oh, God, it's in Tampa. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Are we about to have a situation that Tom Brady might actually have a legitimate shot of starring in the Super Bowl in his now home stadium?
That's the one thing I said about the Bucs, is that they have so many weapons that if they make the Super Bowl, it's not going to be a strange thing or a huge fairy tale story.
Surprise.
It's going to be one of those things where you're like, huh, how about that? And if they win, though, that's going to be like the biggest celebration ever. Winning the Super Bowl in your home stadium.
In front of all your fans, because Tampa fans are notorious to spend good money for good football
I will
games.
say this. Compared to Philadelphia fans, you guys actually know how to party a little bit. I will give you that. You guys know how to have fun. And even though you're in the middle of a pandemic, even if we're in the middle of a pandemic and you guys win Super Bowl in Tampa, then to all the people in Florida, party on. You deserve it.
Rock on, baby.
All right. Anything else you want to add to this, Butch?
Not much for the NFL's sake, but I think there was something I wanted to get to earlier about the college football playoff.
I will save that for when the national championship is played. We will spend time talking about that. Maybe I'll lose my mind. Maybe you'll lose my mind. Maybe we'll both go apeshit over the results, or we'll just go, okay, so that happened.
There is definitely something to discuss.
Before we leave, all right, wild card weekend. Who you got winning? Let's go Saturday. Who you got winning those games?
I am going to say the Colts pull off the miracle and upset the Bills. I will say the Seahawks beat the Rams in a highly contested matchup. Tom Brady massacres the once known Washington Redskins, hence the name Washington Deadskins. Sunday's matchups.
I would say the same. I would switch out the Colts with the Bills.
All right. As for Sunday, I think Lamar gets his revenge and takes down Derrick Henry and the Titans. Saints are going to roll over the Bears. Steelers are going to outright put the Browns in their place and send them back to Cleveland in a doggy bag.
I would
say
what
I did there.
I would say looking at this, you're right.
I mean,
but if I could make one small note, I think the Bears will lose a lot less than the Washington football team will. I think if there's going to be like a massacre in the playoffs, the Bears will not be the biggest massacre.
The Browns, I would say, would be the biggest massacre. The Bears are close.
I would say Washington is the biggest massacre.
I will put a $1 bet.
Okay.
And we will come back.
Okay, I will put a $1 bet on that as well.
And I will make a note in our podcast to ensure that it is the first thing.
You're hearing this first now. For $1. I say Washington is the biggest massacre of the weekend.
All right, and I will say it is the Browns.
If you can't hear me, I am pulling out $1 right now.
I am typing it as we speak.
Yeah, he is typing it down. I am grabbing my wallet. I am pulling out $1. You can hear it right now. There's $1.
Oh, I can hear it.
All right. This has been Cellar County with Butch and Cofi. We will see you guys next week.
Happy 2021, folks.
And happy 2021. Hopefully this year will not be a shit show.
Amen to that.